From the first day of the hurricane season to the latest on James Island, Charleston County Council member Elliott Summey speaks exclusively to me for the special edition of Quintin's Close-Ups.
Well, it's so good to see you, man.
It's good seeing you.
It's been a year since I've seen you.
It's been a while. It's been a good while, but that's all right. Well, we've missed you.
Thank you. But catch me up because I want to know what's going on with you.
Just, been busy, between kids and politics and work and things, things have been busy but good. Yeah. Positive stuff going on.
Right.
It's been a nice first part of the year, so it's been good.
And speaking of first, as you know, today's June 1st, which is the beginning of hurricane season.
Yes.
As we sit here right now, what tips will you give for Charleston County residents to get prepared for a busy season?
I would say be diligent and vigilant. I think anyone who lives near the coast needs to always have that backup plan ready.
Sure.
We had a nice close call last year. Could have been a lot worse, but I think it was a good wake up call for everybody. It was, I think, for governments too to understand now that we've got all these people here.
Yes.
What it's going to take to get folks to safety, and also an opportunity to look at our shelters with the Red Cross. I know that was somewhat of an issue. We got a couple little hiccups, minor hiccups here and there with those, because the rules have changed on shelters a lot different than they were 10 or 15, 20 years ago. The floodplain maps change, and you can't have a shelter in a flood zone. And so we've been very limited on the size of buildings. We do that with the school district, and so which is a tough situation for school district because generally when we get a hurricane, school's in. So it's a lot of ramping down and ramping back up for them in that regard. But also for citizens, I think they just need to be cognizant of where they live. We live in one of the most beautiful places in the world. But with that also comes the threats of hurricanes. And so be ready to go. And listen to what folks are telling you. No one wants you to evacuate because it's fun. It's not fun for us. It's certainly not fun for anybody. But we don't take that decision lightly, and so when it's time to go. My family left during Matthew. We knew we were calling for the evacuation, so I put them in a car and drove them to Greenville, and I drove back to do my job. But I got my wife and children to safety first, and then came back to do my job. So I'm not going to ask anybody to do something I wouldn't ask my own family to do.
Okay.
So, when we do that evacuation series, so listen to the media. You guys do a really good job of helping us get the word out. If for y'all, we wouldn't be able to do it. Listen to the media, have a plan, and execute the plan, and be safe.
And when you talk about job, obviously you were the former county chairman at the time, and obviously Edisto Beach got devastated.
Yes.
Where are we with them as far as rebuilding?
They are technically, the beach itself is in Colleton County, Edisto Island's in Charleston County, but things are going, I think, well out there. We did some stuff to help Edisto Beach in Colleton County when once the hurricane was past us, we knew we were kind of out of the woods. We sent some resources to Edisto. For us, Edisto Island and McClellanville probably got hit the hardest. So we moved resources in those directions. We helped out Edisto Beach. We were able to coordinate some things with Low Country Food Bank because even the volunteers that were down there didn't have any resources really. They had no running water. They had no way to cook. Salvation Army was huge in Edisto Island. They set up at the church down there. They were feeding people and feeding our volunteers and the folks who had lost their homes. There was a lot of roadway work that had to be done. There's a lot of secondary dirt roads down there. They need to be cleared, trees across, some water standing. But our public works crews did a really good job, and we did a decent job getting that debris up. It wasn't an easy task, but it was a task that got done, and there was a lot of coordinated efforts with the different municipalities. But Edisto's back.
Yes, indeed. Speaking of municipalities, I got to talk to you about the obvious. Everybody wants a moratorium on building on James Island.
Right.
Where is Charleston County with this particular decision?
Things are a product of which they are presented. Last week when it was brought to us, it wasn't even an agenda item on our agenda. We were seeing a moratorium that our staff had not seen, that none of us had seen before.
Sure.
It was the city's moratorium, and we were asked to adopt it,
Mm.
not knowing what it said. And it was a pretty decent sized document. I think it was an 8 or 15-page document.
Nice.
And if you're familiar with any of these ordinances, they don't read like, your favorite fiction novel. I mean, these things are complicated, and they reference a lot of state law, and I'm not a lawyer, and a lot of people on council aren't lawyers. And so, when something's plopped down in front of you, when it's not on the agenda, and there's been no time for discussion, staff hasn't looked at it, legal staff hasn't looked at it, and you're just told to go, hey, would you pass this, please? It's not going to go favorably. And Mr. Quayle was doing it, presenting it, and I understand he's passionate about it, and I get it. But if you go back and look at the discussion during the meeting, he was told by the people on the council who voted against it, wait till the next meeting and give us an opportunity to read this, give staff an opportunity to vet it. Just because the city of Charleston says it's okay doesn't mean it is. Under that logic, if you think about it, most of the developments over there that the folks are yelling about are in the city of Charleston. So I don't think we just should automatically follow their lead when it comes to James Island. James Island, unfortunately, been beaten and battered and bruised by a non-coordinated effort and some interesting annexations. I think a lot of times over there, when folks didn't like the zoning they were in the county, they would then get approached by the city to annex and get the zoning they wanted, so the city could get that property tax base. And so, we were able to do that Folly overlay district over there with the town of James Island and the town of Folly, but the city of Charleston didn't adopt their side of it. You're talking 3 or 4 pieces of property over there that are really in the county, and to be honest, we've been very good stewards to them. The Lively was a development that came last year, was way over dense. They came to the county, and the county said, no, we're not going to go for it. So we haven't done anything wrong as far as zoning is concerned over there. We haven't allowed these high dense developments in the county portions of James Island. So, it's unclear to a lot of members on council why we should enact a moratorium over the sins of the city. We're going to protect the folks from James Island through our zoning. We're going to stick to our zoning that they all are comfortable with the Folly Overlay District, that brought those densities down, and we're going to live up to that overlay district. Now, that moratorium that the city has isn't really even in effect yet. It hasn't had 3 readings of council, and it hasn't been to their planning commission. So, all this hoopla and noise directed towards us, somebody needs to turn around and look at the city and ask them when they're going to do theirs. Because it's been a history that the county, we do what we're asked to do, and then the city doesn't follow through. So we'll see what they do.
Okay, you talk about Joe Quayle. All right, what is it that he knows that you guys don't know about this moratorium?
I'm not sure. I don't know. Again, he's passionate about James Island like I'm passionate about North Charleston. I get it.
Right.
And I don't blame him. That's his home, and he's protective of his home, and that's awesome. But you can't just throw a 15-page ordinance in front of somebody without it going to committee and say, vote on this. That's not how things are done. I know he's wanting to do something rapidly, but what the product of that hastiness has now drawn things out even further. And it's created a lot of misinformation over there, and folks emailing us going, y'all don't care about James Island. Well, that's the furthest thing from the truth.
Okay.
If it wasn't for the county, Harborview Road would have never been widened.
Right.
If it wasn't for the county, there would be no James Island connector. If it wasn't for the county, Folly Road and Camp wouldn't have gotten fixed. If it wasn't for the county, if the Lively had been in City of Charleston, they'd be sitting at 400 units right now, instead of the 120 that we told them was the max. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure what Joe knows that we don't know.
Okay.
And to be honest with you, no one's had a discussion about it, so it's, I guess, to be determined.
Mm-hmm. Describe to me the following one word: the new recycling center.
Long overdue.
The 2-year anniversary of Mother Emanuel.
I don't know if you can say that word. Emotional.
Elliott Summey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate this.
Anytime. Thank you. And it's good seeing you. Don't make it so long in between.
I know, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.